So Pat, how long have you been cooking syrup for?
I started cooking syrup in 1990, back in the 1900s, you know. We bought this property, built this house in 1990, and there were some maples, and I tapped, so that was the first year I cooked. Don't know how much I cooked. It wasn't much, but it got me started, and then I've been cooking every year since. So I guess that's 35 years. Warm spring days, nights still freeze, magic in those maple trees. Drill a little hole, hang a bucket from a spout, sweet surprise comes trickling out. There's a drop in the bucket, sap in the pan, going to the woods, I'm the maple man. Build me a fire, gonna stay all night, syrup time, gonna cook it right. Sap bubbles and boils, ain't done yet. The longer it cooks, the sweeter it gets. Making syrup by light of the moon. Sugar shack ringing with a banjo tune. There's a drop in the bucket, sap in the pan. Going to the woods, I'm the maple man. Build me a fire, gonna stay all night. Syrup time, gonna cook it right. I love to see my grandson's face. Every time he sneaks a taste, work becomes such sweet delight. See him dance in the steamy light. There's a drop in the bucket, sap in the pan. Going to the woods, I'm a maple man. Build me a fire, gonna stay all night. Syrup time, gonna cook it right. Well, let's pick out a good tree. Most of these are all trees that I've just started tapping. They just got big enough to tap.
Sure.
The last year or two.
And how many trees about are you tapping?
I hang 30 buckets.
30 buckets.
There's a few big ones that I have a couple buckets on, but most I just hang one bucket on a tree. Well, let's see what this bucket's got. This is a young one. Sometimes it's... So I put covers to keep the rain and the squirrels from pooping in them, you know. But well, it's dripping. It's not full, but it's a nice little drip. About a gallon probably of sap in this bucket. Yeah, let's wander. Check out another tree. You want to go see a big tree?
So what's the best year you've ever had?
Well, best, it would depend. So we're talking...
I guess we'll start with
how much
gallons.
Syrup? Gallons. I made 20 gallons of syrup. Was that my best year? Nope, that's too much. And I didn't want to cook 20 gallons of syrup, but that was the most syrup I ever made. So most years, the best years are years that family can come out and be part of it, you know, and things line up. Sometimes it doesn't line up, but so I like to make about 10 gallons of syrup, which is enough for me and the kids and the grandkids, and to give to some friends. And it's just a nice leisurely cook. So that's collecting about 400 gallons of sap in buckets. So we're coming up to this is one of the original trees I tapped. If you look, you can see where the old drill holes are, and the tree heals up, but the bark always leaves a hole. So you can see those. But I want to show you this one, how high that is, because that year there was probably snow up this high. So, you know, so I'm standing on snow tapping the tree. I look at that and it just always reminds me of how much snow was in the woods that year. You know, that's probably 6.5 feet up. Plastic and what you have. I like to go back to talk about, you know, because this has been a tradition for a long time. Natives, the indigenous people, First Nations people, they made maple sugar and maple syrup before they had metal. And that process, I've seen it done at some historical kind of places where they fill canoes, birch bark canoes with sap, and they heat up rocks and fires and put the rocks in the sap to evaporate it. And it's an amazing kind of deal, but that's how they did it. So it's been going on for a long time. And my grandma would, when she was a little kid growing up in the logging camps up in around Kennon, Price County, Wisconsin, she'd talk about her Uncle John's. They'd sugar off in the spring, and it was a big social time, people getting together after a long winter up in the camps, and potlucks, you know, and there's accordion players and fiddle players, and you know, and that's where I got the idea, because she filled my head with a lot of those old stories about the music and the syrup. But I love being in the woods whenever, but the fall and the spring are the times I love to be in the woods the most. So after a long winter, it's just nice to spend time out here. And it's a lot of work. People ask what for. You can buy syrup at the grocery store. But it's the smell of the steam and the firelights glow and the woodsy memories from long ago, you know. And it's just not, store-bought syrup's just not the same as homemade maple syrup. Kind of when you ask what my best year was. Well, my best year wasn't the year I made the most syrup. You know, the best year is when I had the most fun and the most family here and friends. And I have musician friends, and sometimes it plays out to where, you know, it just turns into a party. A bunch of people show up, they bring food, they bring fiddles and banjos, and we make syrup and play all night. And you know, that's better than making a lot of syrup. But we're making syrup, so we got to do that too. So.